So if you've been involved with the stock market for a while, then you know that it takes a good understanding not only of the markets, but of human emotion as well. However, that's kind of easier said than done, especially when you think about work, family, school, and all the other responsibilities we have. Finding consistent candidates to trade can be very challenging. So in this video, I'm going to break down some of the tips and strategies to help you find the next big move, no matter what season of life you're in. Coming right up.
Hey, what's up? Rob here with Wealth Builders HQ, where we bring you the best tips and tools for building your skills to develop wealth for today and well into the future. And on this channel, we do a lot of stock market analysis for long and short term, as well as recaps just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, one of the questions we get most from our Wealth Builders HQ community is, how do you look at where the stock market has been and determine where it is headed? So we have actually put together an entire free live training workshop that is all about finding the best candidates for today's market. And there's a section for the community, you, to bring your stocks to the event and have me analyze them for you in real time. This free workshop is called Power Hour, and it's taught every Monday live online at noon Eastern Time. I'll leave a link to it below in the show notes.
So let's start off with a review of the S&P 500 from last week. The orange bar on the screen is where we did our last update. That was on Friday's close, basically. So on Monday, small black candle, I'll zoom in a little bit and actually make it easier to see. Small black candle on Monday, just kind of hung around the 2800 level. Good pullback to the moving average on Tuesday. We bounced off the ADMA. We had this uptrending line coming in play as well. Okay, good strong move, closed up above that 2806.90 level. A little hangman type pattern, not really, but small bodied candle, long wick, near a top. Usually happens at a resistance level we don't have, but that style candle, just a small bodied candle, a little bit of push up into the midweek, and then Thursday and Friday we saw some profit taking take place. Now we're only up about 50 cents. If we go and look at a weekly chart, each candle represents a week. You could see the doji-like style candle in there, and it says we're up 52 cents for the entire week. So we really did not see a large progression up or down this week, but the key is the strong break above the 2800 level, 2806 level, right? And then we pulled back to that 2800 and closed there. The ADMA, the pink line, is moving up just underneath the 8, giving us a confluence. We're only about 2.5 points away, 3 points away between the moving average and the ADMA. It gives us a stronger bounce point to take off from. Now, are we going to take off? Not sure, guys. Here's the thing. They call it trading, not winning, right? You don't get to pick the direction of where it's going to go. You get to pick the direction where it's most likely to go. More than likely, the expectation is to move to the upside. Can it break to the down? Absolutely. We'll talk about both. The move to the upside puts us at about 2840. We need to get above that 2807, even above the highest high we had in this realm, which was on Wednesday, which gave us a high price of 28, we'll call it 2817 is our high price on Wednesday. So look at that 2840 level as our upside target. As far as the downside, the position needs to close, the S&P needs to close below the 2800, below the pink line, which is the ADMA, and below this diagonal trend line we have in here. If that does happen, then things start to change, to shift in direction and bias. All right? So let's go ahead and look at some movers and shakers from last week as well. Baidu is number one, right? You can see where Baidu closed last week. Good push back up to the 270 level and a fail. And that failure brought us down about 260.64. Once again, if we look at the weekly, we're down about $7 on the week. And that's not huge for a Baidu, but it was a decent move and, more importantly, a pattern of what I want to see. All right? If the bloodletting continues, 253 is the downside. If we look at the upside, 269.5 is where we're going. Biogen, I'm a big fan of Biogen. Now keep in mind, we have earnings coming out on Biogen. Those earnings are coming out on Tuesday. We will be employing in the E-mini think tank our newest trading strategy that we've released, which is our earnings strategy. And what we do in there is we trade earnings, the earnings announcement, but on the futures. Right? So we'll be looking at, can we possibly trade this one? We'll go through all the details, the rules, and all of that on Monday night, and we'll be looking at this one for Tuesday. So guys, if you have an interest, come and check out that E-mini think tank. There is a 2-week trial to it, so it costs you nothing to come on in and see what we're doing and see what we pick for Biogen for Tuesday. So right now, good strong move to the upside. If we look at it again from a weekly perspective, we're up $10. Once again, we're not talking about $100 moves here, but overall, what happened? We had a nice strong ride up along the 5 EMA. We're getting some compression taking place at that 360-ish level. If we break that level, I'm looking at 370 as our next target. But again, keep in mind the earnings coming out. Booking. I'll show you a bigger picture on Booking. And they definitely have had some lower highs in there, lower lows. The 2,000 level right now becoming an area of support. Will it continue to push to the downside? Don't know. If it does, we're looking at 1971 as our downside target, and 2032 is our resistance level where we're expecting some hesitation there. Netflix. This is the story of the week, guys. The day of the earnings announcement, we had 3 different people, including myself, and they're all paper trades. Just going to consider them all paper trades. I was on a conference call at the time of the announcement. I was on the computer. I was on the phone talking with somebody, and I entered into this trade. Hit a button by mistake, got pulled out with $380 or so in profit. Amelia, who works with me, went in there, same thing. She did a trade on it and pulled out 2 and change. One of our students, Trip, did exactly what the system taught, exactly, and was able to see a $760, $80, I don't remember the exact number, 7 and change dollar profit on Netflix. So on one contract, guys, one contract. He needed $500 to be able to do this trade to make 7 and change in 20 minutes. Phenomenal. But as we saw, Netflix gap down, right? The move up the next day was phenomenal as well. Actually, let me bring in the tracking sheet from Power Options Plays. So again, we made a few $100s on one contract, okay? And that was just in a very short period of time. The next day, we traded the earnings bounce in Power Options Plays. And we were able, on 10 contracts, to generate $25,350 on 10 contracts. Well, we got in when the stock was trading at 347, and we got out at 379.5. Right in that area is where we exited the trade. All right, so now, guys, could you have done this with one contract? Absolutely. We did this with Friday's options. We did this with a very, very, very inexpensive option. Now, granted, the option was a little overvalued because of the earnings announcement, but very little cost overall. $25,000 in a day. Guys, we teach these strategies day in and day out on Power Option Plays. All right, Netflix, what are we looking for? Guys, that 358 is the first target. We're not far away. If it does continue, 342.5. If we push to the upside, I think we'll see some hesitation around that 370, 373 level in there. All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the hot stocks that we want to take a look at for next week. Actually, not the hot stocks yet, but let's go look at economic reports first, right? So Wednesday, we've got the crude inventory coming out, 10:30 a.m. Thursday, so we're going to trade futures with that as well, right? We're going to trade the CL on that announcement. And you could trade, if you're going to trade the actual oil companies, you want to trade the big ones. But I don't see the move in there the same way I do in futures contracts. On Thursday, we've got durable goods coming out at 8:30 in the morning. And Friday, we've got advanced GDP coming out at 8:30 a.m. Now, the markets are closed, but all 3 of these can move the market, particularly the ones on Thursday and Friday. They could set the tone for the market as it opens up. And once again, the same system that we built in E-mini Think Tank on trading earnings, you can utilize that exact same system to trade the S&P or the Dow or the NASDAQ in the morning at 8:30 when these reports come out. Right? Next is going to be some earnings. Guys, we are in the midst of earnings season. This is a small sampling of earnings right here of some of the bigger companies out there. Amgen as an example, one of them that is on our Power Options playlist that we go through all the time. I'm a big fan of HOG, H-O-G, right, which is Harley Davidson, right? And then you've got Chevron, which is CVX, Valero, COP, the CME, Budweiser. There's so many good stocks in here. And again, this is not all of them, but these are definitely some of the bigger ones that you want to watch out for. Right, next I've got some stocks for us to watch, but instead of doing it here, let's go look at them on the chart. And let's see what the chart shows us. So we've got 5 of them for our list this week. Apple is number one. Apple's in a good place right now, guys, in relation to its moving average, but they also have earnings coming out. So I would be very cautious with the earnings component. They are coming out on the 31st, 7/31. You've got enough time in there, but I'd be cautious, right? I'm looking for the breakout of that 192. It looks like 194 and 196 are our two upside targets. Amazon, guys, what a great trade on Amazon. Same scenario. We did absolutely phenomenal. I'll be releasing the results of that trade in Power Option Plays this weekend. I'll show you next week what that is, but absolutely killer on Amazon, considering we were back in here somewhere is where we got in the trade, right? Great. We just got out of our last contract on Thursday that we had. If we, again, earnings coming out on Amazon, right? If we can get the bounce on Amazon, we're looking at that 1838, 1884 level as our upside. Alibaba, right? We're looking at downside now, guys. Overall, bearish pattern, right? We're looking for a move down about 184 and then 177. Google, just hanging out. Once again, earnings coming out, right? They come out on Monday. We'll be looking to trade these on Monday, utilizing the same earnings strategy that I've been talking about over and over and over again today. If we look, excuse me, to the upside, we have targets of 1237 and 1253 are the upside targets. But earnings are going to really play a big part of this. And of course, Netflix. After the retracement back up, the gap down on the earnings on Tuesday, the retracement back up and the roll over, we're down at that 358-ish level right now. If we violate that, I'm looking at 343 and 323 as my two downside targets.
I hope this update was helpful, and I would love to hear your feedback in the comments below. And actually, if you want more insights like this, you could just go over to wealthbuildershq.com. I'll post a link to it below. Now, the question of the day is, what stocks are you going to be looking at for next week? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section below. So thank you for checking out this video. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so yet. And until next time, Wealth Builders HQ is bringing you the best tips and tools for building sustainable wealth in the stock market. Keep crushing it, and we'll talk soon. Take care, folks.